Wade Wilson was currently in a budgeting phase. This usually meant he spent his mercenary earnings on rare collectibles and then realized he didn't have money for rent. That's why the flyer on the windshield of his scooter was so enticing. Urgent, warehouse liquidation. Every single Golden Girls prop must go. Also, we found a box of B. Arthur's actual leftover cheesecake. It is slightly stale, but legally considered a holy relic. First come, first served. P.S. This is definitely not a kidnapping. Well, Gary, Wade said to the goat, who was now wearing a small red bandana to match Wade. If it was a kidnapping, they wouldn't have been so transparent about it. It's called reverse psychology. Only an amateur would fall for a trap that says, not a trap. But I'm a connoisseur of risky behavior. Wade entered the warehouse in the Jersey docks. It was silent. He walked past rows of empty crates until he reached the center of the floor. Sitting on a pedestal was a single, dusty cheesecake. "My precious," Wade whispered. As he reached for it, a massive, pressurized steel dome dropped from the ceiling, sealing him inside. A speaker crackled. "Hello, Wade. I want to play a game." "John, buddy, long time no see," Wade yelled, muffled by the dome. "Is this about the cheesecake? Because I'm willing to share, but I get the crust."
Wade woke up. He wasn't in the dome anymore. He was in a room that looked like a high-tech laboratory or a very expensive spa. The walls were brushed steel, the floors were white marble, and there wasn't a speck of dust or a single skeleton in sight. "Wow," Wade said, noticing his wrists were locked into a pair of high-tension magnetic cuffs. "This is very 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's so clean, I'm actually uncomfortable. Where's the gore? Where's the abandoned hospital aesthetic? Are you rebranding, John? Are we going for wellness horror now?" A television lowered from the ceiling. Billy the puppet sat on his tricycle, his red eyes glowing in the sterile light. "Physical pain is meaningless to you, Wade," Jigsaw's raspy voice echoed. "You treat your body like a rental car you intend to crash. But your spirit is built on a foundation of lies. Today, we test your integrity. There are 4 games. If you lie in any of them, a signal will be sent to a remote apartment. Your friend Blind Al is currently sitting in a chair rigged with a 500 decibel siren. One lie and her eardrums become confetti." Wade stopped joking. His lenses narrowed. "Al's already blind, John. Don't make her deaf too. That's just bad character design."
Game 1, Jigsaw announced. A laser grid appeared in front of Wade. "You present yourself as a man of specific tastes, but everyone has a secret shame. Tell me, Wade, what is the most offensive thing you have ever eaten, not for survival, but because you secretly enjoyed it?" Wade hesitated. He looked at the camera. "Can we skip this? It's too embarrassing." The laser moved closer to his nose. Fine, Wade shouted. 3 years ago, I went to a high-end sushi place, but after the chef left, I took a whole bottle of chocolate syrup and a jar of marshmallow fluff out of my bag and smothered a spicy tuna roll in it. I call it the tuna masu. I ate the whole thing, and I liked it. I liked the texture, John. It was like a fishy campfire." The laser grid vanished. "The truth is indeed repulsive," Jigsaw noted. "Move to the next chamber." Wade walked through an automatic sliding door into a room filled with motion sensors. "Game 2. You are the Merc with a mouth. You take credit for every kill, but the records don't match. Tell me, which legendary mission did you actually fail, but took the credit for anyway to keep your reputation?" Wade shifted his weight. "Oh man, the fans are gonna hate this. Okay, remember the Great Hydra Siege of 2022, where I supposedly took out an entire battalion using only a spork and a copy of Vogue magazine? Continue, Jigsaw prompted. I didn't do it, Wade confessed, his head hanging. I tripped on a loose shoelace 5 minutes in and knocked myself unconscious. When I woke, the battalion had been taken out by a localized gas leak. I just stood over the bodies and did a victory dance when the Avengers showed up. I've been living that lie for 4 years. The sensors turned green. Wade sighed. I feel 5 pounds lighter and significantly less cool.
The third room was a hall of mirrors. Wade saw 1,000 versions of his red-clad self reflecting back. Game 3. You wear the mask to hide your face, but also to hide your heart. Tell me, what is the one thing about yourself that you genuinely admire but are too afraid to admit because it doesn't fit your bad boy persona? Wade looked at his reflections. He touched the fabric of his mask. I actually really like helping people, Wade whispered. Not for the money, not for the superhero points. I once spent an entire night sitting on a roof with a suicidal teenager, just talking about Adventure Time and eating lukewarm pizza until he decided to go home. I didn't tell anyone because it makes me look soft. I'm supposed to be the edgy guy, John. I'm not supposed to have a golden heart. Truth acknowledged, Jigsaw said. The mirrors slid into the floor.
The transition into the final chamber was jarring. Gone were the lasers and the mirrors. In their place was a room that felt uncomfortably small and deafeningly quiet. It was a sensory deprivation tank of a room, painted a shade of white so pure it felt hostile. In the center sat a single hard-backed wooden chair, bolted to the floor. Above it hung a digital clock, its crimson numbers bleeding into the sterile light. 0010. The Siphon-Collar suddenly flared with a low, bone-deep hum. It wasn't just suppressing his healing anymore, it was actively vibrating at the base of his skull. The final game, Wade, Jigsaw's voice echoed. You have laughed at death across 1,000 battlefields because you knew you would always wake up. But immortality is the ultimate ego trip. Today, the clock is real. If it reaches 0, the siphon will permanently cauterize your neural pathways. You will live, but you will be a prisoner in a body that no longer responds. Wade sat down, the wood cold against his suit. He stared at the countdown. 007. Tell me, Jigsaw prompted, if the healing factor vanished forever, if you were truly mortal, what would your last words be and to whom? Wade's wide lenses narrowed. Wow, going for the big emotional payoff in the third act? You've been reading too many screenwriting books, John. You want me to get all misty-eyed? You want the Oscar clip? He looked down at his gloved hands, noticing a small tear in the spandex. Fine, you win. No jokes. He leaned in, his voice dropping to a quiet, steady rasp. 004. I'd call Vanessa, and I wouldn't waste a single breath on a saw pun or a crack about how you look like a grumpy ventriloquist's dummy. I'd just say, I'm sorry it took me so long to get home. I hope I was worth the wait. I'd tell her that every time I died, the only thing that brought me back was the thought of her face. A tiny flickering spark of the old Wade returned to his eyes. 002. And then I'd ask her to delete my browser history. I'm serious, John. Even at the gates of eternity, a man's got to protect his brand. I've got searches in there that would make a Cenobite call the police. We're talking unicorn-themed taxidermy and how to tell if your roommate is a blind mercenary. It's a dark, dark place. The clock struck 001. The crimson numbers flickered, then died. With a soft hiss, the Siphon-Collar unlatched and fell to the floor. The magnetic cuffs snapped open. The oppressive weight in the air evaporated, replaced by the familiar electric tingle of his healing factor surging back into his veins.
Wade didn't wait for a victory fanfare. He stood up, his body feeling light and lethal once more. Okay, J-Man, that was fun, but I'm over the whole climbing toward the light phase, Wade muttered, stretching his neck until it popped like a string of firecrackers. I know how this works. Usually, this is where the doors lock and you tell me I've learned a valuable lesson about the sanctity of life. Well, joke's on you. I haven't learned a thing. I'm still gonna eat cereal with a fork when the spoons are dirty. He looked up at the ceiling, identifying a weak point in the ventilation housing. Ventilation shaft. Classic Saw 3 exit strategy. If it worked for the survivors, it'll work for the guy with the spandex and the chronic oversharing habit. With a sudden explosive spring, he launched himself upward. His fingers tore through the aluminum grate like wet cardboard. Up we go, into the dark, claustrophobic tubes of destiny. This is exactly like that one movie with the alien, except I'm the thing coming out of the chest. He scrambled through the ductwork, his suit gathering white dust. Note to self, hire a chimney sweep, or a priest. This dust is probably 40% asbestos and 60% bad memories. Minutes later, he kicked out an external vent and emerged onto the warehouse roof. He sprinted to a lone, battered payphone standing near the gate and punched in Al's number. Al, don't move. Is there a siren? Tell me you're not in a furnace. Is there a puppet trying to explain the philosophy of Nietzsche to you? Wade, Al's voice came through. Why are you yelling? I'm at the library. I'm listening to an audiobook about the history of salt. It's very riveting. Go away. Wade leaned his head against the cold metal of the phone booth. Salt. Right. Good. Salt is important. Stay there, Al. I'm coming to get you. We're getting the expensive tacos tonight, the ones where the guy wears a hairnet and everything. He hung up and felt a strange pull to go back. He walked back into the warehouse, katanas drawn. He reached the central control room and kicked the door off its hinges. All right, Kramer, I'm back for the encore. Let's do a duet. I'll be the high notes, you read the creepy, gravelly bass. The room was a ghost town. The bank of monitors was dark. A small circular vacuum robot was cleaning the floor, a miniature Billy the Puppet head glued to its top. As it bumped into Wade's boot, it let out a tiny, tinny recording. I want to play a game. Oh, that's just adorable, Wade sighed. You've got a side hustle in robotics? Is this your version of an Etsy shop? Jigsaw's clean sweep. It'll kill the dust or die trying? He walked over to the desk. Next to a half-eaten strawberry donut was a single sheet of yellow legal paper. Exhausting? Wade shouted at the empty room after reading the note. I'm a breath of fresh air. I'm the human equivalent of a spa day. I'm a national treasure, John. You're just mad because I guessed your twist ending back in Chapter 3. And for the record, the tuna misu is a culinary breakthrough. It's avant-garde. He folded the note and tucked it into a pouch. Well, Gary, said Wade as he walked out to his scooter where the goat was waiting, I think we learned a lot today. I'm a fraud, I have a heart of gold, and Jigsaw is a coward who can't handle a little conversational sparkle. He didn't even stay to see if I liked the donut. It's actually quite good. Needs more sprinkles, though. As they buzzed away into the Jersey sunset, the warehouse lights flickered once and died. Wade didn't see Jigsaw again, but every time he saw a tricycle, he made sure to give it a very respectful, very confused thumbs up. Hey Gary, Pete think he'd be interested in a podcast? The Saw and the Mouth? We'd be a hit on Spotify.